Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today we're going to look at the new mission reward system where we can choose our reward, and we're also going to have a look at the trade system. It's something I haven't had a look at recently, so now's a good opportunity. From the background here, you no doubt can recognise we're in Wilhelmsson, a very gorgeous looking system. You've probably also noticed the graphics aren't up to the usual quality, and that's because I was messing around with the graphic settings, set them down to medium at one point and forgot to switch them back, but further into the video they do return to their normal standard, that's on ultra settings. So the new mission reward system essentially allows us to choose one of 3 different rewards. Unfortunately though, it only currently applies to wing missions and doesn't apply to standard missions. But nonetheless, you can take on wing missions on your own, and quite often that is very achievable. Now in terms of wing missions, there's a variety of different missions available. One of them are the massacre missions. I noticed when trying to take them on, you might need to take down 100 pirates or more. There's also the assassination targets. I do believe the target will be that much harder if you take on a wing mission, and you may need your friends to come along to help you out. Delivery missions require a high volume of commodities to actually be delivered. In this case, just 700 units, which at the end of the day, if you do have access to a large ship, isn't that many. But on other occasions you're going to find you need to deliver quite a few thousand commodity units. So there then are the 3 different rewards. We can have a high cash reward, or we can choose for a slightly lower cash reward and some materials, or we can have some modular terminals, and you may well want them to deliver them to an engineer at some point. 24 is pretty good as a reward in this case. So yeah, I've taken on that mission, and I don't really want to do it in the Asp Explorer. I haven't got much storage capacity in the ship. But you can see you can collect as much or as little cargo as you want, so if you are sharing these, then your wingmates are not going to be limited by cargo capacity. They can take a little bit or they can take a lot, and in a wing mission that's something I'll take a look at in another video. For now though, we're going to do this solo, and I'm going to need my Type 9, so we're going to summon that over, and well, it shouldn't take too long because we're going to put a nice little cut here, making the transfer effectively instant. And don't forget that over on the beta server here, the Type 9 has had a buff. There's now an additional Class 8 optional module slot, meaning we can take well over 700 units of cargo. So for this particular mission we can do it in a single trip, but if it was a higher delivery value, then yeah, we'd have to take multiple trips. But that's not really a bad thing, because for players, especially haulage players, have been asking for a very long time to have bulk delivery missions, and the wing missions actually do achieve that very, very nicely. So using the mission depot over on the other side, we can deliver the cargo and we get to the completion screen. And like I say, you could deliver the cargo in multiple stages if you were to do it in a smaller ship. So I'm going to go for the refined focus crystals here, I think. So physical rewards and credit rewards are by no means the only rewards you can have. There's also an option on many missions to have enhanced reputation increase. So as you do missions for a faction, your reputation with that faction will increase. You have options with missions of a +1, +2 or +3 to reputation, but now you do have an additional option, and that is a +5 to reputation. So I picked up this mission because I wanted to see just how much of an effect that would actually have. I've already done a partial delivery of the cargo here, and now I'm completing it with the rest of the delivery. As you can see, it was slightly larger than what my ship was able to carry in a single trip. Completing it, you can see here's the reputation reward. And this is the first mission I've done for this particular faction, so the reputation is still quite low, and with just a single mission we're nearly 1/3 of the way through Cordial already. So yeah, these +5 to reputations are going to be very nice. The other thing I want to look at today is the new trading system. The galaxy map then is now a very good place to start when you're looking for any trading opportunities. There's a number of filters that have been introduced. We've mentioned them before, but we're going to have a look at them right now. So I'm here at Wilhelmsson, and you can see that this is a high-tech system. That means they'll sell technology. Around us we've got a bunch of other systems. Othel is the nearest one. What does it say there? Economy is colony. It doesn't give us a lot of information. I'm sure we can get a bit more information on that if we actually have a look at the system map. But this is kind of beside the point. You can also use filters to find this sort of information as well. So you can see that this station here is extraction refinery. So let's go back here, and like I say, you can actually see that information on the map filters by basically filtering for economy. So if we filter for extraction and refinery there. You can see Othel is now lit up, but that's not really the information we want at the moment. What we want to see is what sort of trade data is available. So on the filter list here, go to trade data, and you can see, when that's not covered over, you can see I've got trade data for Othel, and I've got trade data for Pet, and these are in orange over here, trade data required. The ones that are in red means that there's no trade data for these places, and that's because there's no space stations there or no markets. The ones that are in blue, I could get data from them, but I will have to dock there or scan the nav beacons in those systems. So the more trade data you have collected, the more trade opportunities you're going to have available to you. And we'll have a look at some of the other filters on here now. The other one you want is the commodity filter. Let's have a look at that. So you can see at the moment I've got explosives selected. I'm not sure. Oh, it's because of, I was about to say I'm not sure why, but it's because we've got this selected here. So you can select different commodities, and it tells you that both Othel and Pet export hydrogen fuel, and Othel exports liquid oxygen. Doesn't look like Pet does anything with that. Look, no information available. So you can use this to find some trade routes by looking what sort of commodities are actually being imported. So yeah, surface stabilizers is something that's imported into Othel. And again, we're looking by sub-commodities here. You can look by the top tier of commodities, so chemicals, consumer items, legal drugs, or metals and minerals. So what sort of metals does Othel export? It doesn't export aluminium. Beryllium, it does export beryllium at a cost of 8,140 credits. So we can have a look at Pet here for that, and they import it for 8,800 credits. So let's go back there. Oh, now beryllium's been exported for a slightly different price. I'm not sure why that changed, but you can flick through different stations within that particular system. So perhaps it was because I had Anderson Colony selected initially. So 7,600 there, and it's imported into Pet. We'll have a look at the different markets there for 8,800, 8,800. Yep, so you can make about 1,200 credits on that particular run. So that's one way of finding a trade route. Another is to use the other filter down here, which is showing trending data. So click show trade data routes, and what you'll get is a bunch of lines showing us what's actually being traded at the moment. But in order to get that, you do need some commodities selected. So if we turn these on, you'll get all the little lines here showing us what's been exported and imported into various systems. You can see that lines going that way. This is being imported into Pet. So is it here? Pretty much all of these are going in. There's a few going out as well. And we can actually look at all these commodities if we want, or we could just filter it down to just a single commodity. Let's look what's going on with metals. Beryllium might have been a good example to have a look at, because we found that example just a moment ago. So let's click there at beryllium, and yes, you can see Othel is exporting beryllium into Pet, which makes sense because of the price differences there. So again, that's another way of finding a trade route. And the trending data here, this is for what's actually been traded in the past 24 hours. At the moment, we've got commercial selected. Commercial is trading that's done by the background simulation within the game itself. But you can also search for what commanders have been trading. And no commanders have been trading in this area in the past 24 hours. So do keep in mind this is on the beta server, so there might not be a lot of trading going on, but that's something that will build up over time on the live servers. So the galaxy map isn't the only way of finding trade data like that. We can go to the Commodities Market, and over here you can see I've got Pet selected. That's because I selected it on the galaxy map early on, but we can, that's normally set to a galactic, can we do it? Yep, that's normally set to galactic average by default, which is what you're used to seeing on the live server. So high tech, they're either exporting machinery here, or most likely exporting technology, I would have thought. And they're likely importing metals in order to do that. And again, we saw brilliant, there's the price there. So what we want to do, instead of using the galaxy map, is see what we can find by market. And on here we can search for markets that we've already docked at before. So Othel, we go for the same one here, and you can see Othel is listed, and we can then flick through whether we want to show import profit or export profit. So let's go to import, because we want to import it into our Pemnapet. And yes, Brillium is bringing in 1,280 credits profit. Gold, 1,700 credits profit. And Palladium is 2,020 credits profit. So scrolling down, that's probably the best one there for us to actually make. And that's actually not such a bad profit. Insulating membrane is also another thing we can profit on. And of course, as you click here, you can look through the different bases within the system you've selected, and it will give you price comparisons for each different base. So we're looking at VAS installation, and you can also of course type in any other system you've visited in the past, assuming you can remember them. So then let's go over to Othel then, and we'll pick up some Palladium and see how that goes. So the prices for the data that we can see on the commodities screen, as well as on the Galaxy Market, this is live data, so it should be reflected accurately by what we see here. And this is going to be the proof of that, at least hopefully. So there's the Palladium, and 1 unit for 12,000 credits. That seems to be about right. Now, if we wanted to, we could also use the same filters on this end. Perhaps we were sitting here and we saw the Palladium and thought, yeah, that's a very good price. I wonder where I can sell it and make a decent profit. So that question could be answered by using the filters, again on the commodities market here. Now, none of this is automated, so there's no single button that you can press to say, find me the best price. You will need to type in the name of the system that you actually want to search for. So yes, a Pemnapet, because we've actually been there. I've got the trade data for that, and because I also know it's a high-tech site, so it's likely they're going to want metals. Straight away we can see the profit there, and it does match up with what we saw at the other end, around about 2,020 credits. I'm going to go ahead and buy these then, but unfortunately there's only 94 units available, and that information isn't available either on the commodities screen from the other end or in the other station, and you can't see that in the galaxy map either, so it's something you're going to have to actually come over here and see for yourself. So we don't want to go back empty-handed. There's plenty of space left in the cargo. Let's take some gold as well, as the profit on that should be pretty good as well. So what's really nice about this new system, and I'm finding it pretty enjoyable, is that trade routes are pretty easy to find. They still need you to search around the galaxy, they still need you to manually do things. There's no one button press to actually give you the best trade route. So ultimately it's a good compromise between what we had originally and using an external website like EDDB. Overall then, it works very, very well, and if you're a regular trader, then you're no doubt going to have a stack of trade data already sitting there waiting for you. Although that said, from what I could see in the beta, the only trade data I already had available was from the stations that I docked at during the testing phase, but from what I understand, when this goes over to the live server, the information will be backdated from when you started playing the game, and you should have all the data available to you for every single station you've docked at during that time. At least that's my understanding of how it's going to work. So there we go then, that's a look at the new trade system, and it's a look at the new mission rewards as well. I'll be back very soon then with another video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.